Well, good morning. Welcome to BAUS, everybody. Welcome to the section meeting, section of andrology and genitourethral surgery. Last time in Glasgow for some time. And I just want to run through a little introduction for you before we get the business of the day started. We've got a very packed program today. When BAUS has contracted into 3 days, we've had to squeeze our activities into a short period of time. So here we go. So today we're going to kick off, after this introduction, with our classical, if you like, and very popular update session. We have penile cancer, urethral surgery, penile implants, and a literature update, taking from the female section and the AUA idea of trying to get the top papers crystallized. Then we're very fortunate to have Cully Carson. I don't know if he's in the room, but Professor Carson is a emeritus Rhodes Distinguished Professor of Urology at North Carolina. He is a legend in andrology, has published over 250 papers in the field of erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease. He is past president of the SMSNA, the American Society of Men's Health, and the southeastern section of the AUA. He's St. Paul's medal winner, and we're very fortunate to have him come along later on and tell us about what is new in the field of Peyronie's disease at 10 o'clock. We then have a session based around the publications that the section did last year on andrological emergencies. So we will run through each of the common emergencies, summarize the papers that were published in the BJUI, and give you basically the UK consensus on how to manage these common problems. And very often in the middle of the night or whenever the least convenient time, these emergencies will come in. And it's very useful either if you're a trainee to turn to these basically protocols, or if you're the consultant, you can refer your trainees to these protocols so that they can literally verbatim read how these problems are managed. So we're going to run through those with you a bit later on. We then finished off this morning with a male infertility session. We've got 3 excellent speakers coming to tell us about the latest in the most topical aspects of male infertility, DNA fragmentation, how to preserve fertility in the adolescent, and then the thorny issue of VAS reversal. And that's it for this morning. And then we're going to split. This year we're going to split into 2, so the rest of the section activities will be on Tuesday afternoon, on tomorrow afternoon. But there are some other things going on. Ian Erdley's organised the baggers meeting for lunchtime, which will be in here, for those of you who are doing urethral surgery. And this afternoon, the general meeting contains a session on men's health that Roger Kirby is chairing, and that I'm sure will be of interest to members in the main hall. And we have the andrology, reconstructive, and penile cancer posters all in one session, in one big hit this afternoon at I think 3:30. So that I'm sure will be excellent. And for those of you looking for fellowships, excuse me, there's also a fellowship session at the end of the day where I think VB and Ari and a few others are promoting andrology fellowships across the country. So on to tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon we have the survivorship after prostate cancer, so 4 sessions. Declan Carhill on the impact of robotic prostatectomy on functional outcomes. We have Maj Shabir talking on the optimum post-prostatectomy rehabilitation protocol. Then we have Peter Rader, who's probably put more male slings in than most, coming from Innsbruck to tell us about his experience, particularly with the pause that's going on at the moment with the mesh. And then finally a session on testosterone therapy and its relevance to prostate cancer and prostate cancer patients. Immediately after that, we will then run a session on varicocele, another thorny, topical, some maybe controversial issue, some new evidence coming through on varicocele treatment, so that's going to be covered later on tomorrow afternoon. And on Wednesday, there's a new male infertility course between 11 and 1, and then running into the afternoon on Wednesday will be the highlights for the general meeting, and within that we will have highlights of the andrology aspects, and a report regarding the master and open trials. In terms of the section, there's been a few changes. Here's the committee. We've had AO and Eamon both join the committee in the last year, and that's going well. We meet twice a year, and I'll run through what's been going on. The audits will be changing, as you may well be aware, and the main two audits for this section, the urethroplasty audit and the penile implant audit. Penile implant audit, Asif is going to cover later on in the update session. The urethroplasty audit, which has been summarised by Steve Payne and Tony Mundy, was presented last year and is with the BGAY coming out hopefully for publication quite soon. In terms of the last year, we've had some great meetings. We've had a RSM Andrology Day, which has been happening every 3 years or so, and that was a fantastic day, followed by an evening function in Lord's cricket ground, and that was really a well-received, packed room. Again, a great day down in London. I then put together, there was some feedback regarding reconstructive urology and the lack of maybe of a forum for UK reconstructive urologists, particularly those dealing with urethroplasty, to meet up. And we therefore set up a meeting in Winchester in May, and that again was very well received. Quite an informal, small meeting, but nevertheless great speakers, great social, and a good time to sort of discuss all sorts of things, both medical and political, if you like. And the question really for us is whether or not we try and bring together BAUS, our section, the female section. There's so much overlap between the three bodies as to whether we try and coalesce a little bit more, either through meetings or through the sections. What next? Well, BAUS, as you may be aware, are looking at the, with NSIP, National Clinical Improvement Programme, and HES figures. So BAUS NSIP are looking at basically the quality of HES data to see whether this is something that can be used rather than the prospective data collection that has been taking place through BAUS historically. And that's a work in progress. Then, of course, there's the changes to commissioning, and that's something that's probably going to have the most impact on us, really, is NHS England driving centralisation through commissioning process. And in terms of the penile implant policy, I think there's a, in terms of a summary, we're still at the public consultation phase. That closed in March, but we haven't heard much since then. Therefore, the stakeholder representation that we wrote back last year was taken on board to an extent, but actually there were no changes made to the document. So the policy was put out to the public for consultation with 4 centres for England within it. And that was out to public consultation between January and March. And since then, there hasn't been any feedback, certainly not to myself or Duncan Summerton or BAUS, regarding what the public consultation garnered and what the direction will be. But hopefully there will be news about that soon. But obviously that will have major impact on andrology services in the future, because other areas such as surgical sperm retrieval and urethroplasty are also within the remit of NHS England. So that's it really for the section. There's some relevant meetings that I've been asked to just touch on. Here's, in fact, they're all at UCL. Here's Hussein has put together a great meeting for mainly senior trainees, junior consultants, covering the whole of the andrology syllabus, including semi-live surgery in September. Pippa Sangster has a day's course focusing quite deeply, if you like, on male infertility in October. And then there's the 13th GURS conference or masterclass of live surgery at UCL in November. So plenty of stuff if you are looking for courses. So basically, enjoy today. The day is packed. Please, speakers and chairmen, stick to time. Otherwise, we'll miss something along the way. And enjoy your day. Thank you.